Good thing for yourself. Great to see you again.
Very good to be here.
Yeah.
Very early.
Yes. This is not
Very
normal.
keen.
This is not normal.
No, absolutely not. But it's great to be back in Australia. Great to be at this race, and we're looking forward to it.
Well, we feel like you're an honorary Australian. You employ almost, or you employ Australian drivers, of course.
Yeah, we love Australian drivers.
Don't you? Yeah. What is it about us?
Well, we can almost understand you, and we've had a great, relationship with you guys through Mark Webber initially, and now through Daniel Ricciardo. It's great to have an Aussie in the car.
It is. It's fantastic for us, and thank you for giving up your time. Of course. How are the nerves? Because we always it's race one. You've had a big winter. And now you've been doing this for 12 plus years, so you know what's coming in terms of the next 30 weeks of your life. But how are the nerves going into round one?
Okay, I mean it's a little bit like first day back at school. Everybody's in new uniform and blah blah blah, and you're just itching to get going now. So this is the first part of a very long journey, this year, and it's the first opportunity we get really today to see how we fare against our opponents, and then of course it's just a development race flat out from here all the way to the end of November to get performance on the car.
Been amazing changes, hasn't it? Probably the most, I'd imagine, off-season in the sport, or at least while you've been here. Not only change of ownership, but the changes we're going to see today, I think, it's just going to be fascinating. How do you read it? Is there anything that you see is going to be a standout?
Well, the cars look great. You'll see that they're bigger, they're more aggressive looking, they're wider tyres. So visually different, they're faster. They're going to be around 3-4 seconds a lap quicker around here. So it's giving the drivers a harder time. They've had to train pretty hard over the winter. And it's going to be interesting with these new rules. Has it shuffled the order around a bit? Now, Mercedes, obviously they're still the favourite, but are they going to be as dominant? So it's going to be fascinating to see how things turn out. We know Ferrari have had a really good pre-season. They look like they've got a fast car, but we're quietly confident as well that the RB13 is going to be a competitive car this year.
Well, we're into the Hisense 8 and 9s, and now in the RB13, which is it is amazing.
They're going to catch us soon.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the plan. I think certainly it is. But you mentioned the drivers. Just a little bit about what sort of weight Daniel would be. How heavy would he be? Would he be in the early 60 kilos range?
Well, with all his gear on, with the helmet and the overalls and boots and everything, he's low 70s, so 72, 73 kilos. So, and he's got to stay there. So it's like being a jockey. That his weight is crucial for us not to vary too much. So, we're driving him towards some kind of eating disorder as we weigh him about 3 times a day. Just to make sure that he's staying consistent on the weight.
It is amazing. I know that was Mark Webber's not an issue, but just because of the sheer size of him, he was always giving up 5-6 kilos.
He always looked ill.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He was, because he was a tall guy. He had to work really hard to keep that weight really trim.
And the car's 20 kilos heavier this year.
Yeah.
That's obviously going to change downforce in the car, and as you said, quicker, but more aggressive. How do you see the racing panning out?
Well, it's going to be interesting because the cars are going to be a bit harder to follow, I think, because of the aerodynamic effect. But of course, with the DRS, people are saying that overtaking was perhaps a bit too easy before, so it might just actually balance it up. That the driver's going to have to work really hard for an overtake. But with the help of the DRS, I think it will. It's still going to be possible. This track is notoriously difficult to overtake on, but because it's the first race, new rules, the pit stops are going to be different with bigger tyres for the mechanics to get to grips with and so on. So there's always opportunities around the first couple of races that people are finding their feet.
I know you're obviously a huge Dan fan, but and last year you were just super impressed by the way he drove, and of course his manoeuvres, some of the driving manoeuvres he did throughout the season. How's he feeling? Obviously, he gets this week's really tough. Well, I won't say really tough, but it's a busy week for him being his home Grand Prix.
Yeah, he's in great shape. I saw him last night. He was unveiling a car yesterday evening. He's been pretty busy in the build-up to this Grand Prix, probably the busiest week of the year for him.
Yeah.
But I think he's really pumped by the support that he's got, and we see the enthusiasm from all the fans and supporters here, and he feeds off that. He's a natural performer and entertainer, and he's taking energy off that, and that's going to give him a tenth or two around here for sure.
Let's talk about the relationship quickly with Hisense. I know, and I've heard, I'm calling it the mega wall back at Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
But tell us about this huge, big TV.
It's insane. We've got, I think, probably certainly the biggest TV in Europe, one of the biggest in the world, that is live linked back to from trackside back to the factory. We've got probably 50 engineers in there, working off that screen, looking at all the content that we see. All the timing screens, all the visuals, visuals in the garage, and then of course they've got all the data coming back into them as well. So we're restricted to the amount of people that we can take to a Grand Prix by the amount of personnel that you're allowed working on the car. But by having this connection back to the factory and being able to have the quality of visuals that Hisense is providing for us, it's like having people here at the circuit, and so they've gone on to Australian time back in the UK, so they'll be arriving for work now and be in the debrief with the engineers or the briefing in about half an hour's time. So, and then interacting all the way through every session in the Grand Prix. So it's a fantastic piece of equipment for us, and it's like something out of a James Bond movie.
Yeah, I can imagine. And for you being the leader, I suppose, you across all these different departments.
Yeah,
it's amazing. I mean, your workload must be staggering. It's not just here at the racetrack, but it's happening everywhere, all over the world.
Well, it keeps me busy,
yeah.
And we love working with technology partners like Hisense, because we're absolutely at the cutting edge in everything we do in Formula One. And if we can get any kind of advantage on our opponents, then we're chasing all those little details. So all these partnerships are hugely valuable to us, and it's been fantastic. It's now the third year with the relationship with Hisense. See how quickly the product and the quality of the product is evolving and changing. A bit like the Grand Prix car. It's just constantly evolving. The 4K graphics now and so on. It's mind-boggling.
It is. The lap record. Well, is it a chance to tumble this weekend? I know Schumacher's got it at 124 and some, but is it a chance?
There's a chance.
Yeah.
There's a chance. I think cars are getting faster and faster and faster, and they got below the lap record in Barcelona a couple of weeks ago, and nobody's really pulled their pants down yet and turned the engines up, taken the fuel out, and shown us what they've got. So we'll start edging towards that this afternoon. But really tomorrow, then we're going to see what the potential of these cars is.
I like that. Pull your pants down. I'll use that later today, I'm
Yeah.
sure. These guys are about to do a pit walk shortly. What sort of things, looking through your eyes down there, what sort of things should they look for? Obviously, take as many photos of all the other garages.
Absolutely. If you get a good one of the Ferrari or Mercedes, please send it through. I think it's interesting to see the cars without the clothes on, because all the bodywork's off. You can see, look at the packaging of the car, how tightly they are, packaged. They're like Swiss watches, and so it's well worth having a look in each of the garages, and you can see from one end of the pit lane to the other the amount of how the detail changes, and obviously the guys be busy working on the cars, but it's a great opportunity this morning whilst the cars are, as I say, being prepared, and of course there might even be some pit stop practice going on as well.
Yeah, we spoke about that. That was it was happening last year at this time. So,
yeah.
Look, mate, thank you very much.
No
super to have you here. We might just have. Is there a quick question from the floor that anyone would like to ask? Go ahead.
Yeah, I read an interview with Cyril from Renault a couple of days ago. He's talking about Cyril from Renault talked about the new engine. He's so confident that he specifically said that Red Bull will be title contenders this year. Do you share that confidence? How do you feel?
Well, I just hope he's right. We're relying on Cyril and his engine. It's a big part of the package, and they've had a good winter. They've changed the specification of the engine quite a lot. There's been a few little things to tidy up, but generally making good progress. So I hope he's right.
we spoke to Daniel last year. He talked about how his mum was always trying to feed him and everything.
Yeah.
She must really hate you. Is she getting angry with you?
Yeah, we've banned her from the track.
As long as you get some of that beautiful Italian food.
Yeah, of Italian origin, she's a natural feeder.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we've just asked his dad to step in and pick up the portions that she'd be giving Daniel. But he's very hot on his diet. You know, he's eating probably seeds and nuts as we speak now. But he's very good at being very, very disciplined on his diet.
Well, thank you very much. Obviously.